$10. 5 goes back to Rigby's, offset their cost. 5 goes in the cigar box. End of the year, we blow the box on the Christmas party. Giveaways, gag gifts, cutters, lighters, cigars, drop it.
Yeah.
And it's just blown up.
We're live.
So
We're kind of live. We've got 2:30. Hold on, Sharon. Don't share quite yet if you're on. We'll wait until there's about 20 seconds left.
Turn the audio off.
Yeah. I'm looking for my share. Where's my share? There it is. Share.
And I took the age restriction off so people could share it this week.
Nice.
I don't want to share. Where do I share?
I'm definitely a newbie. Oh, he's showing off his little humidor. That's nice.
Chris Coulter. Hey, Pops, will you grab me one of those Atabay aristocrats, please?
It is a Byron aristocrat. Senior.
That is a Byron Veneciano you gave me.
What did you want?
Holmes.
You wanted a Byron aristocrat?
What did I say? Atabay?
Atabay.
What's happening? What's happening, Sean Rats? We are about to sip on some Scotty Pimpin's Ball Sweat. I'm looking forward to this.
And
all right.
8:16. We're relatively early.
Considering we started setting up at about 8:08, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jerry Vaughn. I didn't know the mics were on.
You do that every week.
Yeah. Yeah. This dead air, ladies and gentlemen, when you're watching, it's just a couple of guys trying to figure out how cell phones work.
Share. Share.
Why is this not sharing on my page?
Son of a... Never mind.
Are you sharing it from Newbies or are you sharing it from the
My
ICC?
personal.
From the ICC page? It's not going to let you share it from Newbies because it's a private group.
No, it's share. I shared 2 newbies.
Sweet.
Drew Estate fans? Nah.
Larry Adams, LaGrange, Missouri.
In the house.
He was not the first comment. Chris Coulter won. Damn, yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta be close. 3 seconds. What's up, boys?
Hey. Boom. You gotta go across. It's an
He's usually coming in late.
Yeah.
He is. He usually misses this part.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Cigar Talk Live, aka I think it's becoming the Judgment Zone because that's the most fun and compelling shit we talk about.
Yes.
This is our Tuesday get together. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching, we need your help creating the Judgment Zone questions. These are the hypothetical questions that we judge our esteemed guests on. And this is our time to just get together and smoke a cigar with you beautiful people and you beautiful people. And today we've got a beautiful person in the shop right now. JD Mars, usually seeing his name. You're bigger in person. Like what I see, you're like very small.
Yeah, just a little goofy icon on my Facebook page.
Yeah, and now I know what you look like, which is good, and you're in. JD, cheers, brother.
Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Ooh.
That's 6 championship rings. That's what that ball sweat is.
Yeah, I'm still learning my liquors. So that's the one thing that I haven't gotten into yet. Gary is trying to introduce me to this crap.
Rigby's coming in. I'm with you. I'm definitely not cool enough. That's why I drink beer.
So Rigby's, there's dumbass. That's what he just wrote.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's a story.
So he's in.
There's a story behind that.
He's in. Tracy's in as well.
Yep, the boss lady's watching.
Josh, what's happening? Chris, what's going on? Oh man, this is solid. Chris Remy Thomas is saying you made the front video to their website for Photobomb 360 videos.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Checking it out. Will you give these fine folks just a quick little synopsis as who you are, and then Gary, if you could go ahead and give us a quick synopsis who JD Mars is as well.
Yeah.
So Gary, he's already said dumbass on there because everybody on the Cigar Club earns nicknames, and I'm known as dumbass in the Cigar Club. We have Gary's Gump. That says everything you need to know about Gary. My wife is Cinnamon. So
Oh boy.
yeah, it's a stripper name.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
stripper
it's a
name.
stripper name. She's hot though.
Yeah,
so
told you I
it,
needed
it
fluid.
fits. She's hot.
That's nice. She's
But,
watching,
You know,
which
we
is
got some
great.
good
I like
names.
that.
Cigar Club people that are watching. Skid Mark, Deuce, and her boyfriend Dropping. Glory Hole. You know, we got some really good, solid names in the cigar. Pucker. That's Gary's wife. Leslie's. That's Pucker. So we got some pretty solid names in Biscuit.
That's
Bullet.
So you guys are up
you know.
in Paris, Texas.
Yes, sir.
So how far is Paris from the beautiful city of Frisco, Texas?
It's about an hour 40 probably. Hour and 45, hour and 50 because there's a Buc-ee's in between and you can't not stop at Buc-ee's.
gotta stop at Buc-ee's.
We don't have a Buc-ee's up there, so you have to stop at Buc-ee's on
you
the
got to
way.
stop at Buc-ee's.
So
Get some
about
corn
about an
nuts
hour
or
and-
whatever those things
yeah.
are called.
Yeah.
Oh, beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets.
Yeah, those
So
things.
we're about an hour and 40. So
All right. First question here. All right, you walk in, you're going to Buc-ee's. What's you can only buy one item from there. What is it?
I'm getting malted milk balls, but that's my thing. But
That's not
they're-
wrong.
They're out. They've been out. They've had them like one time in the last 6 months. There's a international shortage of malted milk balls or some shit. It's pissing me off.
First
That's
baby
a-
formula,
that's
now
a-
malted milk
malted
balls.
balls. commie
These son of
move,
bitches
right?
need to get their shit
I
together.
bet you
That's
they
all I
make
got
it
to
with
say.
baby formula.
Yeah, the malt. Yeah, it's probably a
yeah.
malt thing.
What do you get? What's your go-to?
I like those. I like the beaver nuggets. Those are pretty solid. But I do stroll past the jerky department.
Yeah, it is. It's often beef jerky
So
time.
I couldn't get malted milk balls. My wife always gets where the little roasted nuts are. She gets the pecans. So those are solid and they're warm. So
Have you tried an underbite?
no.
An underbite will change your ever-loving life.
What's an underbite?
An underbite is their version of a Reese's. It's a beaver head, so it's about this big. I think it's a quarter pound of
So you're
chocolate.
getting an insulin shot after you.
100%. It's this big. Frank Tomaszewski always gets them for Ale, for my wife when he goes. I think he's trying to swoop her, and it's probably going to work. But it is a quarter pound of chocolate and just super creamy peanut butter in there. Give it a shot. It's incredible.
Quarter pound of chocolate.
It is a brick. Oh, and you will have it.
So here we are. Let's give them a little recap. This is Tuesday night, Cigar Talk Live. We are coming to you from Industrial Cigars in Frisco, Texas. We have JD Mars, who is a very, very famous name that you constantly see on the screen. Now you get a chance to see that we literally will pluck anybody out of this crowd and put him in this chair without even a background check.
Well, if you didn't check out of your rehab today, you wouldn't even be here.
You wouldn't be here.
I might need rehab after this weekend. So one of my Navy buddies was in for the weekend. We get together every 4th of July, every New Year's, and there was some drinking involved. We had like 15 people at the house, set off a bunch of fireworks out in the backyard. So
Here's the beautiful
Good
thing
time.
about Texas. Salina, if you get caught blowing off any fireworks, $2,000. But if you shoot your gun in the air, it's only $500. I mean, that's just Texas.
That's Texas.
That is Texas.
Shouldn't be fined anyway.
I don't know which one costs more these days, though.
That's true.
We sent off about $500.
One round, one
yesterday.
rocket, same thing.
We blew about $500 worth of fireworks in the backyard yesterday. We did a little show. Let the kids light them.
I'll tell you what. We're sitting.
Jerry Vaughn's coming in strong, throwing some serious shade on Paris. Said you can throw a rock in any direction in Paris, Texas, and hit a meth head.
Yeah, so yeah, when I retired from the military and went back to college, I started a drug and alcohol testing business. I'm like, I'm going to be busy in Northeast Texas.
They don't test up there. Just let them do it.
There were businesses that were like, if I test, I'm afraid I'll lose employees. I'm like, come again?
Yeah.
Like, that's the
They're
reason you
just
should be
truck
testing,
drivers.
dumbass. But no, it's not that. Meth isn't that bad. It is not any worse than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
You heard it from JD.
Nah,
Meth
no.
isn't that bad.
No, it's not that. I mean, have you tried it?
No.
All right, so it's not that.
Is it all right?
I used to mess with people at the convention stuff. Like, I'm like, you haven't tried it? Like, that's market
Yeah.
research.
I mean,
like, how do
it's-
you test drugs if you haven't tried coke and hash? And
Yeah.
people's head would explode. Like,
Yeah.
what? And I'm like, I'm fucking with you.
I just,
Like, no,
you
I
know,
didn't. No, I didn't.
Once you have crack, you never go back. I mean, that's really what I've boiled it
Those
down
and
to.
beaver nuggets.
That's
Yeah.
it, beaver nuggets. Although I did hear, put beaver nuggets in milk like you're eating cereal to change your life. This just in, they're like homemade. What are the
Pops.
Yeah, the pops, the corn pops.
Kellogg's Pops.
Kellogg's
Omaha,
Pops.
Nebraska, baby.
Omaha, Nebraska. So where's everybody coming in from tonight? Of course, we're going to give you our preliminary good day if you're coming to us from a foreign country like Chicago.
Bonjour, y'all, from Paris.
Bonjour from Paris.
Wow, you've got that nice French accent up there.
Yeah. My wife popped in with my bonjour, y'all, when she got on. So.
Oh, she did? Yeah. Oh, that is great.
So how big is your actual Eiffel Tower?
80, 90 feet.
See, do
Red
people
cowboy
climb
hat.
it all the time, drunk and...
So we had the second tallest Eiffel Tower, and then some other Paris somewhere. There's like 4 Parises in the United States, something like that or whatever. They built one a little taller. So some of our rednecks at the welding place said, well, we'll get on top of that shit.
Just put an antenna?
No, they put a red Stetson on top of it.
Nice.
So our Eiffel Tower has a red. So if you come to Paris, it's like there's 2 or 3 things you have to see in Paris. You have to go get your picture in front of the Eiffel Tower. It's just one of them, you know. Got to put it on your social media. You go see Jesus in boots, of course.
Great.
That's at the grave, at the cemetery. There's a, swear to God, there's a monument, and it's 3-4 feet wide, and it's probably 8 feet up, and there's a huge cross, and there's Jesus leaned up against a cross, and he's in a robe. But you go down and you look, and his foot's kicked out under the robe, and there's a cowboy boot. And you're like, 1891.
Really?
Somebody had a sense of humor.
I'm telling you.
120
Well, there
years
was a lot of
ago.
heavy drinking back then,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Not probably
moonshine.
Meth.
Yeah.
Oh, meth. Yeah. They,
Well, it was
they
probably the
created meth
Yeah, it
up
was probably
there.
the meth.
They called it
So,
math back then, and then it became, you know, if we're going to do it in school, let's call it math.
You know, it's just, that's the 2 little things. You know,
Well,
it's
there's
like, you
about
gotta
to be
see
a
that.
third, which is Rigby's Cigar Lounge up there.
Rigby's is going to be a really, really cool place. So
Yeah,
we're
they're-
kind of talking about that a little. It's a different environment from y'all.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Gary and those guys have, they're clearly doing it right. It's been great. You guys actually would come down here quite a bit and just kind of hang out and.
You know, I've learned in cigars, and I was telling you, I started a cigar club. November will be 5 years because I didn't know shit about cigars. I had some Navy buddies come through. One of them had a Pelican case. He's like, you want a cigar? And in the Navy, you had cigars when there was a retirement ceremony, a golf tournament, annual golf tournament. Everybody went and got the stupidest, biggest one that they had to golf. Like, oh, that'll last me a while. And as a sailor, it's like, how much is that one? That one's bigger and it costs the same. I want the bigger one. Not necessarily better. I didn't know shit about cigars. Had a really good one in Puerto Rico or Guam or somewhere, and that's where it kicked. And I had them off and on, but, you know, 5-6 years ago, some buddies came through. They were doing a coast-to-coast Harley ride. Had a good cigar. My daughters were in gymnastics at the time, so we were in the Metroplex every 3rd weekend or something doing gymnastics. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to find a cigar place. I grabbed a handful, and I didn't know what I was getting. I just walked in like, well, that one looks cool. Shit, I didn't know. So
Can I stick on that point for a second?
Yeah.
As you're walking in, you just admitted you didn't know shit, and now you're walking in the shop. What were some of the things that caught your eye that said, I need to spend my money on this?
well, it's the simple shit. It's marketing. Band,
The
box.
label, the shininess, the color, or whatever.
Fishing lures.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. So I didn't know shit about cigars, and I found there was 2 little tobacco stores in Paris, and he had 3 stand-up humidors, like cabinet humidors. And I went in, and I got a cigar. I'm like, holy crap! There's a place that, and it's like a convenience store, like
Sure.
shitty convenience store. Cigarettes, vape, snacks.
Magic
3
says.
humidors. Yeah.
Meth.
Pipes.
Yep.
Zigzags. And no
Water
shit.
pipes, you have to say water pipes.
Hookahs. Yeah. So there was these units. So I got one. So the second time I went back, the owner was there. He lived in Melissa, had the 2 stores, had one in Bonham. And we started chatting. He's like, try this. And he gave me EP Carrillo. I'm like, I go home like, well, shit, that was actually a good cigar. So I go back. He was in once, twice a week, couple hours. Didn't know his schedule, nothing, just happened to catch him. And we started talking, I'm like, dude, we should do like a cigar club. It'd be good for your business. And we could learn different cigars. He's like, yeah, he's always ordering stuff that he wants to try because he was a cigar guy. He goes, I want to try this. I'm like, we'll order a box, get it, we'll try it as a club. So we started, 6 guys showed up first night on the deck outside, frickin' 40 degrees, 6 of us. And he brings 6 boxes. And everybody's like, which one do I smoke? So we sat down after the first night. I'm like, bring 2 boxes. So he would bring 2 boxes. As the group of guys that showed up, we would vote on which one we were going to smoke. We would smoke it, and then we would rate it. And I would write an article that was getting published online up there. And I would put Bo cigars in there. So it was good for his marketing, for his business. Hey, he has these cigars. They're brand new. But this is the one that we smoked. This is what everybody thought about it. Well, 6 guys the first night. We're averaging 40, 45 smokers now. I don't know if I was telling you or Pops, last month, because Rigby's is under construction, we were doing smokes there during construction, but it's gotten to a point where they're getting down to the wire where paint, finish, trim, stain.
Everybody in Paris loves you.
Chance well put.
Yeah.
Chance Abbott.
Hey, Chance Abbott. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys here.
He doesn't have a nickname. He comes to some smokes because he's scared to get a nickname, but it's going to be something homosexual.
No,
he's totally metro.
Yeah, he said
Chance.
you don't know anything about cigars, but you know a lot about sailors.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to teach him about it tomorrow when I see him. So we started doing, and I was publishing articles with the online news media, and then our cigar night happened to hit on like smoking cessation night, so they were like, some of the Baptist women complained, so they quit running our ads, but it's grown over the years. Well, we've gotten to where, like Rigby's, we were in there when they bought the building, and I'll tell you about the building, I was kind of mentioned earlier, like there was no roof, it was just walls, open sky, bring a chair, bring a cooler. So the whole process that Rigby's has had to go through, which has been a long process, they've grown their clientele. It's like last cigar smoke 2 weeks ago, it was 98 degrees outside on the concrete. We had 37 smokers.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I mean,
that's great.
That's a testament to what you're doing, what Gary's doing. And please remind me, what's Gary's wife's name?
Leslie. Gary and Leslie Flynn. So Gary was
good people.
Fort Worth Fire Department, 35 year. He was lieutenant, retired end of last year. So, I mean, it's like sailors, anybody military, firefighters, cops, they all want to open a bar. Yeah. So he's opening a cigar whiskey bar. So, they're going to do cigars, and then they have liquor. So they're going to have straight pours. They're doing a brewery out of Dallas. They're going to carry just those, like an IPA, a Pilsner, a dark, something else, a red, and then a seasonal. And then they got one winery, and then everything else is straight pours.
Oh, that's cool.
Like once a month, they might do a ladies margarita or a martini night. But like regular night, if you walk in and say, hey, Gary, make me a martini, he's going to be like, gin or vodka? You're going to get a rock of ice and vodka or gin. That's your martini. It's straight pours. They're just not doing all the other shit.
Good.
So
that's good.
Leslie's
not dealing with that. So
bonjour.
It's been a really, they've dealt with a lot with COVID, horrible building official issues with historical. I met Gary and Leslie with Cigar Club. Somebody showed up at Cigar Night one night and said, hey, Paris is getting a cigar bar. And I'm like, wait, what? So I started calling around, called the bankers, who's buying this building, who's doing it. Small town, I know everybody. And found out who the owners were, sent Gary a message like, hey, come to Cigar Night, tell the club. Everybody's super excited when we heard about it. He's like, cool. Also, if you could, we're looking for an architect for plans. And I'm like, coincidentally, I own the drafting business in Paris. Like stepbrothers. We're best friends.
Yeah.
Velociraptors.
And we've gotten
karate.
to that point. I mean, they watched our kid one weekend when we were out of town. I mean, that's how close we are with them now. They're every week we're at their house, our house, dinner. My wife and his wife they're twins. Like out of nowhere. Like how did these two not know each other their whole life? So we're real close, but like we'll come down to Dallas to go to a concert. And it's like, okay, where's the concert? Which cigar bar haven't we been to?
Right.
Let's get a hotel in the middle. And we went to. I took my wife up a year and a half ago for a class in Fort Smith. My wife does hair, and she was going up to a class up in Fort Smith. And I'm like, hey, yeah, we're going to be gone this weekend. We're at Fort Smith. And they're like, is there any cigar bars there? I'm like, yeah, there's 2 on the map. Well, shit, we'll come with you. They came up just to go to dinner and have cigars, spend the night. And that's how this community is like now I go somewhere, the first thing I'm doing is Googling, is there next weekend, our anniversary, happy anniversary, baby, 15 years, Thursday. So next weekend we're going up to Tishomingo, which is where Blake Shelton has one of his bars, and town's like 3,000 people. First thing I'm doing is cigar bar. Is there a cigar bar there? No, but I can smoke at Old Red on their patio. Okay, I'll take a box of sticks with me.
That was the genesis of ICC.
Yeah.
Just traveling around the country with Andrew and Nathan, both in sports and golf, and we would every market we go into, we'd find what the local cigars lounges were, knowing that we were going to do this. We would critique them and create in our own mind what we thought was the right cigar. I'm excited to see that you guys, I'm going to say you guys, are doing a lot of the lines that we're like Crux and Bocock and those. You guys have really, you guys are aligning yourselves with the right vendors.
And I think that's a big trap that many, I'll say, smaller market lounges fall into, is they just carry the same shit as always and everywhere because, yeah, it'll sell.
Yeah.
But it's the right approach.
Well, we started bringing some of the cigar reps last year to our smokes, and they would like here not long ago than when the knuckle sandwich came out this spring.
Yeah.
So Big Tony came up.
Tony's checking in right now.
Big Tony.
Tony's
so
the
Big
man.
Tony came up and gave it, and the club has progressed as it's gone. We started doing a rating because I can't read Cigar Aficionado, and I don't taste the flavors that people taste. I tell each other, it's like beer, wine, anything else, to each of their own.
Yeah, you either like it or you don't.
Right, and it's like, okay, this is a good cigar. I'm not going to buy another one. Or it's, oh shit, I had that Definition cigar tonight while I was waiting. While I was getting hair and makeup and fluffered.
Yeah,
brand.
fluff.
Yeah. I got
Their
good hands.
fluffing is great. If anybody wants to be on the show,
We are pros.
pro fluffers.
Yes.
Anyway, so I had that Definition. I'm like, holy shit, this is a good little cigar. And
unreal.
I text Gary. I'm like, are you carrying these yet? No. All right, I'm going to get 4.
Yeah.
Because my wife has gotten into cigars, so I can't go buy a cigar. I come home with a cigar. My wife first thing's like, you get 2? Well, shit. Now I got to get 4 because Gary and Leslie, we smoke with them. And it's like, okay, but the club has progressed, and the way it come about is like, I can't read articles and see. It's like, I'm either going to like it or I'm not. And then if I like it, is it worthy enough of me buying to put in my box? And, I'm still figuring out where my lane is. Like, I've got the Scottie Pippen ball sweat.
Yeah.
And
The pimpin' ball sweat, baby.
I'm still learning whiskey and scotch. Like, I've got a couple scotches at home that I haven't cracked the seal on. I'm waiting special occasions.
So what's your go-to with the cigar? What do you like to drink?
Jack and Coke. Always. So there's 3 things, I did 24 years in the Navy. There's 3 things you can get anywhere in the world. A Coke, Jack Daniels,
And ice.
and a Budweiser. Like, anywhere you go overseas, it's like Budweiser. It's American. I'm not a Bud guy. Everywhere had Jack and Coke. So I was always pretty, if I'm drinking beer, typically Dos Equis is what I stock. There's other beers I get, but that's like kind of my go-to beer, or Jack and Coke, and that's what I drink. Gary's like, we're not going to have mixed drinks. I'm like, you're going to have some Cokes. Well, we'll have Cokes for people. Okay, well, just give me a shot of Jack and a side of Coke, and I'll pour it in. But I haven't learned. There's been some scotches I've had that I really liked. I've got a bottle of Dalmore cigar malt. I bought 2 bottles of it.
Yep.
One of them's going to be for Gary and Leslie and I when they get ready to open. It's $200 bottle of scotch. I'm going to crack it when they get ready to open, and we're going to smoke some damn good cigars. I told him, like, you want me to buy some of the $250 Cubans to celebrate? And he's like, no, it's okay. But I was like, it's been that much of a process for them to get open that I'm like, I'll buy 4 of them if that's what we want to do to celebrate. But we're that type.
It is the build out process is frustrating. My brother did our build out here, and he's like, that project, all in, it's going to take us maybe 9 weeks. Took 9 months, and we never got a red ticket all through the inspection process, but still it just takes forever. And then you guys run into the headwind of equipment shortage, supply chain shortage,
Historical society.
Historical
if we
societies,
wouldn't
everything
have
else.
a shit building official, they'd have been open already. If we had the one that was still there, they'd have been open year and a half ago. But that was the first hurdle we hit, and then COVID hit, and that just shut everything down. And then historical was really difficult.
Gary said they're 3 years in to open in a lounge.
Yeah.
That's patience.
I went down. So the history of it is in 1915, downtown Paris, Texas burned. Like 90% of Paris burned to the ground. The building they're in was a bank. So there's an old small bank vault in the corner, back in the corner. And in about a 2.5 year period, they rebuilt the whole downtown. And the hard part of the historicals, there's a lot of places that have historical, but it's a federal historical because there's only like 4 or 5 places in the whole United States that have that many different architectural styles in that small condensement area.
Okay.
When you're on the square, it's like you can look and go, that's Gothic, that's Italian, you can see the different designs by whoever built it. Well, they built the whole downtown in 2.5 years. In 1917, when that building was rebuilt and opened, it was C.P. Johnson Cigars. Up on the 3rd floor, there was an old humidor. There's a 1915 to 1920 drip humidor that was up there, and that they came with the building. I mean, it's just, you can't buy that kind of history.
Yeah, you can't find it.
So that's why it'll be like a cool destination. People are like, I gotta go check this place out. And Gary is, I mean, I know, so Gary, when he was at the fire department in Fort Worth, I think Michael's over in Keller was the one that was closest. That was his home one, right by his house.
Good people. Peacocks are good people.
Yep.
Yeah. So he learned a lot from them. He came over. I know he talks highly about you. Like, you talked to him and gave him advice and stuff. And like the first time I came in here, I'm sitting in the chair out there and I'm just like going, okay, this building's about 26 feet wide. You'll be about 2 feet wider. I'm looking at because I'm drawing their plans, and I'm like, so we would go places and look and see how they were. And I'm like, we went to a place downtown. I won't say the place, downtown Fort Worth or something. And I'm like, their humidor is like the size of this room. And the guy's bragging on it. I'm like, ours is 350 square feet.
Yeah.
The vault in the back, they kept the bank door. There's going to be 44 VIP lockers in it. And it's inside the humidor, all glass. They've got some old 100-year-old, 80-year-old, doors that swing, old, like from an old drugstore, like one swings in, one swings out. They're about like that wide. Just really cool, just neat stuff.
Yeah, good history.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool in that aspect. And like Gary and I were talking a week or two ago, like y'all have a completely different clientele here, and y'all are killing it. And me being a business owner, I love seeing other businesses do well.
We do too.
And it's great for America. Hey, it was 4th of July, America, hell yeah.
America, baby.
So I love seeing businesses. I haven't had that much.
Let's rock and roll. I mean, you've seen this show before. Let's go step it on up over there.
Yeah.
Less talky, more drinky.
So it's our clientele is, Paris is 25, about 30,000, about 50,000 in the county. We're drawing people 45 miles an hour away, because from Rigby's in Paris, the closest cigar bar would either be Rockwall or over here, McKinney, Plano. I mean, so you're driving hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours to a cigar bar. So you get all of northeast, southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas over towards Texarkana, all the way down south, Mount Pleasant, Sulphur Springs, all that. We're 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
And that's the draw. And the one thing that I think is the coolest thing I think about our cigar club that I love so much, and I see it just here when I walked in and sat down, like every time I've ever been here, your staff, your guys are amazing. Your customer service is bar none.
Thank you for saying that.
I come in and you got guys walking in and they're walking around fist bumping everybody, and I'm like, I'll shake your hand, dude. And I start talking to him. He's like, oh, Paris, yeah. There's a guitar shop there, Larry, I think maybe. I'm bad with names. And he's like, I want to come up and see it. I'm like, well, when you come up, let me know. I'll take you down, have a cigar with you there. Here's my card. Okay.
That's the community.
It is. And, we've got guys in our cigar club, retired older guys. We got, a veterinarian. We got a lawyer that's, MVP, Super Bowl level kind of lawyer. We've got business owners. We got Chance. He's, I'll just leave it at that. It's just such a variety of people, and it's all just for the leaf.
Joshua Jones is coming in, said that he loved living in Paris. Did you know Josh before he got thrown out of town?
Yeah, he said he wished he had a club like that back when he was there.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough cigar talk. This
show is not supposed to make any sense.
Yeah. So here, let's just put a bow on this segment of cigar talk.
Yeah.
Rigby's is going to open here in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Hopefully in August, if not September. Probably.
Go to. It will open when it opens.
We're gonna have y'all up so you can see it. It's just different clientele.
It'll be awesome.
It's just a cool place.
Regardless, it's great people.
I'll bring my ball sweat whiskey and I'll pick you out something.
Doesn't even have to be whiskey. Bring whatever ball sweat you got.
Yeah.
We'll join you. But go check out Rigby's. I'm sure you guys have a Facebook page, so make sure you're
Rigby's
following Rigby's.
Yep.
The Flynn's are great people. JD Mars, I would have to say he's great guy. I mean, he drove here to be here. Now we're sitting here smoking
I wish
some
Adrian
Byrons.
was here. I was fixing to get in the shower. I got a room next door because I knew we'd have some drinks. I didn't want to drive an hour and a half home, after I had some drinks. And Adrian texts, and I didn't have my reading glasses on. I'm like, hey, I'm menstruating. I can't make it tonight. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
migraine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, migraine.
I thought it said menstruating at first. I'm like,
basically the
say
same
what?
thing for
Yeah.
Adrian.
Okay.
All right, let's hop. We went through like all the nice stuff, right?
Yeah.
Nice. It's everyone's friendly. We love the cigar culture and the community, and nobody
good cigar,
judged
by the way.
anybody. Everyone
It's pretty
everyone
much
is
perfect.
equal. That ends now.
Yeah.
For the rest of the show, we get into
There
what we
will
call
not be
Oh,
any
and I watch
more.
this shit and comment, so I'm like, I have no idea what's coming
the
next week.
judgment zone is the next segment, which will probably run the majority of the rest of the show. And those who know JD, please, Chance, go ahead and get your little fingers ready to start getting all Metro on that keyboard, because
Yes.
we need a little bit of extra.
Yeah. I'll be seeing Chance. Maybe.
I don't know if we want to. I don't know. Let's hang off on the big three, but I'm thinking kind of hypotheticals. I know we can judge him. Let everyone else judge him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a lot of dumbass comments coming in from Paris.
That's
so
what we
That's
need.
what they call me is dumbass.
If you
I'm sure
understand-
the Cigar Club guys are watching, and there's going to be some comments coming.
Let's think of a hypothetical here.
Gary said, let someone else talk, JD.
That's usually
You're
what we
doing
hear.
great.
Yeah,
You're
you're doing great. Gary
called-
even
Making
said
us look
called Cigar
like a
Talk,
genius.
that's right. What's a hypothetical you want to throw at JD
At JD, hypothetical.
that he doesn't get to answer? We answer for him, and the comments roll through on what the answer is.
Based on now our in-depth knowledge of, we've sized him up. Mm-hmm. What car
Yeah.
does JD dream that he would have?
Oh, you should. Do you not
Price, no
remember?
object.
You don't remember that from last week?
I'm old as dog shit, so I don't remember anything.
All right. I mean, he's not a Bud guy, but he is a Jack and Coke guy. He's a sailor. He's American.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like a 72 Pinto.
Only the one that has the wagon one with the bubble
it
window.
has to be.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
no, but for real, I
My
think
wife's going to comment because I was looking at like the Centurion used to make conversion shit, and I found like an 86 Centurion van dually truck. And I'm like,
Nice.
on this weekend, I was showing her, and she's like, I will freaking kill your ass.
So
I'm like, we could party in that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And pull a trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
okay.
It's
So
dual
we
purpose.
got some coming in, a Prius, a Focus, a couple Ford Focuses.
I had a Ford Focus RS. And Gary used to
Oh,
give me
right.
shit.
You know what? You
Gary
see,
gave
that's
me
on the
shit on
RS
that.
out there.
and he's like,
Yeah.
it's got
So-
300 horsepower.
375, bitch.
Regardless, for all-wheel
drift mode,
drive.
All-wheel drive.
Is it all-wheel drive?
Drift mode. Built in. You hit a button. Normal mode.
What? It
sport
moves
mode.
it to rear-wheel drive?
No, it's an all-wheel drive. The RS is all-wheel drive. The ST is front-wheel. I had an ST. That's
He knows a lot about Ford Focus.
That little
You know
car-
why? Because
it was
he
a
spent a lot
go-kart.
of time
It was a-
justifying why he's
It
got
was
a
a
Focus.
Dude, that little sumbitch was fun. Seriously, you hit the button. It was normal mode, sport mode, track only, or drift mode. You hit it automatic. It had electronic suspension. It would automatically transfer power and shit. That little car was like
Did like that-
go-kart
did that-
on steroids.
Did like the screen in the middle of the dash, like did it start playing like Tokyo Drift as soon as you started?
Yeah.
You
I
like
mean-
push the button and
I
all
mean,
of a
I
sudden
had to have
up
the
comes
Too
Tokyo
Fast, Too
Drift.
Furious soundtrack. I mean,
of
you have to
course,
have it,
yeah, I
right?
mean,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Ja Rule, let's go.
pre-programmed into the friggin'.
50
It's
Cent.
pre-programmed.
All right, what do you say? Okay, I'm not actually saying a Pinto. I'm saying like a Chevelle. I'm going to go a 70 Chevelle SS.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has that. I'm going to go ahead and say 1979 Trans Am
oh,
with the bird on the front.
I mean,
is
I
that?
drive one.
Skinner,
I'm not
baby.
lying. Yeah.
that wasn't
Playing
the IROC Z, was that? Was
No,
that,
not the Trans.
That was the
the Trans
Z28.
Am.
That was the
Yeah, Z-
78 was the
Oh,
was the
IROC Z
Smokey
was
and
the
the Bandit,
Camaro.
right?
Smokey and the
78
Bandit,
was
yeah.
Smokey. I mean, I drive one, but
Yeah.
All right, what do you?
probably a Ford GT. And I commented that last week. I would, and if I had the money,
Which one?
New one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to have an old one
I
for
think
the
it's the best
investment.
look- yeah.
But I would take one of the
The
new
new
ones.
ones are bringing more money,
Oh, they're
obviously, because
frickin'
it's such a limited
intense. And I
supply.
would twin turbo that bitch up and
Well, we
like
did
1,200
that.
horse.
It doesn't
We did
work
that.
great.
We put a twin turbo on a Ford GT.
And it doesn't work.
And my brother totaled it going 25 miles an hour.
See, here's the problem: is when it's supercharged and also twin turboed from Hennessy, the turbo spool. When that spool's up and you're sitting at about 1,200 horsepower to the wheel on pump gas, 30 is still a dangerous speed.
Yeah,
You just don't-
particularly when there's a little sleet.
You don't touch
There
the
was
gas
a little
real
sleet
quick
on the road.
Yeah, but the problem is it's so wide you don't feel it stepping out.
until it's
So it
already,
stepped out
until it's already stepped out.
Yeah, and you're in the drainage ditch.
Yeah, I
It
could
was
see
in a
that
drainage
happening.
dish. It was full of ice.
Yeah,
and-
they're just sexy cars.
Yeah.
So
they're-
I think the
That's
new
a good
Ford
answer.
GT is the one of the best looking,
the
if
money?
not the best looking car on
if
the
you
road.
could buy one MSRP, that's the best, one of the best investments you
Yeah.
could get. I mean, there's
Well,
they're
What are they,
bringing.
250?
Oh no, when
No.
they came out, they were like 140, 150, 160.
the
new ones?
originals.
No, even the new
05s?
ones.
No,
like,
I think the new one was 300.
now, I mean, but when you ordered, when they first, the MSRP wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was 300 because
Was
a
it? I
buddy of
thought
mine
it
was
was
trying
less
to
than
buy
that.
one. Yeah.
Really?
They're sick
Yeah.
cars though.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
Pennington coming in with Eleanor.
Oh,
Ellen,
I've looked. I could drive an Eleanor all day.
Well, I don't think he's talking about a car. I think he's just so perpetually pussy whipped
Yeah.
that I think he just wants any car
That's
that
got a girl's
has
name.
got a girl's name.
Gary
in it.
Flynn came in with Pinto too.
yeah.
Pinto?
And he drives a Mini Cooper, so he's got no room to talk.
A
Yeah.
Mach 1. You know, Mach 1.
So I'm in the market right now shopping, and I'm torn. I always wanted a Prowler just because they're cool looking. They're dogs.
Yeah.
They have no ass. They're
have
just neat
no
looking.
power.
No. They look like the old 32s. I like the fenders
Yeah.
off, the bumpers
Yeah.
off, but they have no power, but they have air conditioning. And I'm in my 50s, so shit, that's it. I want to be able to get in a car and like if I want to go to Oklahoma City this weekend, I could do that. But I've been looking at a 356 Speedster wide body replica.
Oh,
That'd be
And I
fun.
really love it, but a bitch ain't got air conditioning, and I might
Well,
drive it to Dallas, and that's it. That's
is
as
that-
far as I'd go in.
but
in
it's
in
convertible.
replica.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can, you can roast.
But
with
I'm
your-
looking at one. It's cool as shit. But I'm kind of in that. I've got a 13-year-old, so I'm probably going to get like a Camry and drive it back and forth to work and give it to her in 3 years, pay it off. So she didn't have a
Yeah.
new car, and she can wreck it. And but yeah, I mean, I've been shopping. I've had a bunch of different cars. The coolest car I ever had was probably a TVR. I had a 72.
really?
Yeah, that was a bad little car. That was fun as shit.
really?
Yeah, 73 2500 MTVR. That was a fun ass little car. Your ass is literally 6 inches off the ground. When you're sitting in it with your hand on your steering wheel and on the gear shift, your elbows, I mean, you're literally, it's like this. Like it's like two nuts and a ball sack in that car.
They are beautiful
But
cars.
they're cool little cars. The Griffins were really cool because you could get like the 289 Shelby or 302 in those, and they would freaking scream. But they're great little autocross cars, independent suspension, way ahead of their time for late 60s, early 70s. That was probably one of the coolest cars I've had. But I've had in the military, every 3 years you move, and you sell what you have when you're going to another. If you're transferring overseas or somewhere else, you're getting rid of what you got.
Well, speaking of what you did have, Champs Abbott's coming in and said the last time JD arrived in his rice rocket, which American rice rocket, thank you very much, I had to run outside because I thought someone was eating a bunch of weed, and then he opened the door, jamming Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. Threw on his shades, lit a cigar, and rolled out.
I've got a video of a saxophone player playing Billie Eilish, I Wish You Were Gay, right next to him at a winery. So he has no room to talk.
Catch
That's
us
for
next
you.
week. Chance Abbott will hopefully
Yeah.
be on.
Yeah.
For a rebuttal.
Chance is a good dude. I like Chance. He's just, yeah.
He just doesn't
he's
have a
gonna
name
get
yet.
Oh, he's getting one soon.
Yeah, that's good. So, your turn.
It's helping me get to know JD a little bit. You know, he's always behind the keyboard, so I thought he was somebody different than he is. He's far more composed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, a couple more drinks, that might change.
well, perfect. That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put my finger on it, and I think it's a good classic one, especially now because it gives us a snap judgment as to who you are. And I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear what people in Paris say, but I really want to know what you think JD's spirit animal is.
So I watched this show. My wife and I did the little spirit animal test. and
Oh,
it
did
was,
you?
It was right on line with what my wife said. So I'll let y'all go ahead and I know there's going to be some shit coming in from Paris.
Let's see. That's I just can't help but I'm kind of pigeonholing you, and it's not fair because I've noticed that
Gee,
you know
thanks.
you have
Thanks, Pops.
There are certain cars that you like. There are certain things that you know are moving you up the ladder
Right.
of evolution.
It's a step ladder.
Yeah, and it's short.
It's a short ladder.
It's short.
Yeah.
But all short buses make it easy to get to the back. So I think the spirit animal. See, when you said it, I went ox.
An ox. Okay.
He just meanders. Nobody's going to really mess with him. He's going to look at you with that stupid look, you know, like, why are you calling me dumbass?
Which
You
is
know?
really good because
You know?
because Flynn comes in with dumbass. It's an animal. Donkey. There's a lot kind of in that realm.
But I just
My
picture
wife's
this
laughing
ox,
her ass off.
hard worker. They'll, you know, hey, let's get JD. We're going to hook a couple of, you know, trailers to
you
him
could
and let
hitch
him
a
haul
wagon.
this shit. You could hitch a wagon to this guy, ride him into town, and he isn't going to bitch about it for a second.
Mongo like candy.
So I'm just thinking, and I think his pace is more oxen style,
All right.
and he can plow the hell out of a field. That's
See,
what I'm saying.
That's where I think I would go with like a bison. Because he has the power to do it. He just doesn't want to do it.
yeah,
You know, he's got it. You could hook a wagon,
yeah.
but then he might just sit there and look at you and go,
We used to have them in the backyard.
He also realizes.
Did he really?
Yeah. My father-in-law used to raise them.
really?
Yeah, they were in the backyard.
Exhibit A.
They're
And
big.
he,
They're
and
big.
he
They're
also, you know, what all bison do all day is just stand there and wait to take an arrow in the side. That's all they wait for. It was bred into them a long time ago, and they just, stand here. They try to get one of the other ones to stand next to them.
Gary,
Yeah.
I appreciate you just chiming in consistently
thanks,
with the
Gary.
whole
I appreciate it.
junkie, the
Fucker.
donkey jackass thing.
Yeah,
What is yours? You took
dog.
the test. Dog?
And my wife will say that because I'm always trying to hump her.
Yeah.
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 I
well,
mean,
like a
but
bull
what-
mastiff?
Yeah, like just any dog. It doesn't matter, you know. But
You're just the red lipstick on the dog.
yeah, getting the Red Rocket out. But we have a guy in Cigar Club named Red Rocket. But I did the test. I'm like, I'm a dog. My wife's like, yeah, you are.
what's your wife? Did she take
I
the
don't
same
remember
test?
if she took the test. She's hot. She'd be like a gazelle or something. I do have a good looking wife, so I can't.
Gazelle.
complain. Yeah, she's hot.
So, all right.
Everybody gives me shit like you married up. I'm like, she's a lucky girl.
Does she know it?
No, I mean,
Okay.
no.
It'll be too late.
I just say that because we got married on 7/7/7. Because that way I wouldn't forget it.
Bingo.
Yeah, and I was like, she hit the jackpot. That's what I always say, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever, dude. She's like out of your class. I'm like, yeah, probably, but I'm not gonna let her know that. She might like find somebody better, right?
You are letting her know that right now.
No,
She's watching right now.
So
I would be careful.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
She is a panda.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was. I do remember that now. She said that. Panda.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Pandas are
Cuddly?
cute.
Yeah.
Cute, cuddly. Rip
Bite your head
face
off, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm usually in trouble, so it's nothing new.
That's great. No, that's fantastic. What are you? I just want to ask you from a cigar perspective. What do you think about the Byron?
That's a good ass cigar. That's the first Byron I've had. I brought the Atabay. One of the guys in the Cigar Club gave me one of the Atabays, I think like $37, $38 stick. And I'm like, he's like, here, try this, JD. And I'm like, dude, it's like a $40 stick. Like, you just don't hand them out. I don't. Not in Paris. We're rural. I'm like, it didn't fit his flavor palette. And I've had it in my box waiting for the right thing. And then y'all were doing a couple of 2, 3, 4 podcasts ago. You had the, whatever the guys, I'm bad with names, but the
Nelson
guy from
Alfonso.
Nelson.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I text Adrian. He's like, come over one Saturday. Salina will sit on the patio and have it. I'm like, done. I'll bring the wife because she smokes with me. And we'll come over and have cigars. And I'm like, I'll save it to have with Adrian. So I brought it, and then he bailed on us.
Yeah.
So PMS, it's a bitch.
It's cramping.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
He's cramping.
But so I hadn't had an Atabay yet, and I haven't had a Byron yet. So this is a really good cigar, and I think people go through phases when they learn about cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got into everything had to be Maduro. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
And I think that's a phase
common.
you go. Like you work your way up.
It's common.
But I'm still always drawn because I smoked, I dipped in the military depending on where I was stationed. Like there were places like you couldn't go out in the field and smoke. It wasn't real tactical. So everybody dipped. And my wife hated it when I smoked cigarettes. I quit. I started dipping. I was on and off. She hated it, quit it. And then, 5-6 years ago, I got into cigars. And now she's in it with me, and it's a totally different environment from,
I'll tell you
those
what,
tobaccos.
just
It's
from
a
a
different world of tobacco.
From a pure relationship standpoint, there is nothing better. And I thank you, Brandon, for making a comment the other night about how you and Ale, at the end of the night, go out and have a cigar. So I go out and watch TV, and Begley's out watering some of the plants, and she's like, "Go grab me an Angelique," and it just. There's nothing better than sitting outside with your wife and just having a cigar and just do what you do with a cigar in your hand.
Third Tuesday of the month is our cigar club. We got our own Facebook page, and I was kind of leading to that earlier. Is everybody comes? We'll get 30, 40 smokers, and I have a little card. It's the redneck rating card. It's dumb as shit because it's redneck because we're redneck up there. But it's a 100-point scale. It's just got funny shit on it. Or stupid shit, depending on your point of view. But we rate the cigar, and then at the end of the year, we do our cigar of the year, whatever. If you get 40 guys together, just average Joes, and they rate that cigar in the 90s. It was 98 degrees last week. We did the Fonseca. My father, Patrick, sent up a bunch of swag for us. Really good. Patrick's awesome. Carmichael, if y'all know Patrick. And but it was a good cigar. It's going to rate 90, 92. I haven't done the post yet, but it's probably going to be in 90, 92 range. 37 smokers at 98 degrees on the asphalt at an outdoor bar and grill. Go buy it. If it's in the 90s, go buy it. If it's in the 80s, it's probably a good cigar. It's up to you if you're buying another one for your humidor. If it's in the 70s,
that's
high 70s, some guys like it, some don't. If it's in the 60s, buy one to keep in your box for the buddy that comes over that you don't want to give a good cigar to. You give him that piece of shit, like that kind of. But that was the kind of premise behind the whole club.
What is kind of the average cigar that you guys are smoking? Like, as far as how would you classify the palate in Paris?
Honestly,
what would you say the majority of guys are going to grab?
Torpedo box press Maduro is where it had historically been.
So what, like, I mean, that limits it now, right?
The old guy that I started Cigar Club sold out, sold his businesses out. And the people ordering cigars, just like, oh, that looks cool, order that. They have no clue what they're stocking.
What's up, Marty?
Then almost, 2.5 years ago, going on 3 years ago, I meet Gary and Leslie. They become our host club. They're our host, right? Cigar bar. So Gary now will order, like, there's something new he wants to try. He's like, I want to try this line of cigars. He'll buy 3 boxes, bring it to Cigar Club, and let 40 guys smoke it and girls.
That's the way to do it.
And everybody smokes it, and the rating comes out. If it's an 80, he's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stock it. I have a limit. You have a limited shelf space.
Yep.
It's like how y'all sit down and do. Everybody has to agree, right? So he has a test crash dummy group with the Cigar Club to try new cigars with.
Yep.
And it benefits us. All of us in the club, every month we get the knuckle sandwich.
Yeah.
It came in mid-80s, I think, in the club. We did the red label, not the Maduro. So was that a Habano or something maybe? We did it. It came in mid-80s. It was a good cigar. But then we did the Fonseca, and that's not a Maduro, and it's probably going to rate in 90, 92.
A little spicy.
But, 98 degrees, you're not smoking a Maduro. Gary's like, I'm not bringing a Maduro if it's 100 degrees. People will fall out.
I'll tell you what, DC has a Figueroa, or I guess he calls it a Perfecto, box press torpedo that is going to blow you guys away. And then tell Gary to buy some, they're going to show the short Salomon Limitada at the show. So the Limitada is spectacular, but in a torpedo, little short Salomon, that's going to be an incredible cigar.
That's Crux cigars for those.
Well, and that is one of their staple cigars. Crux, anything that Big Tony brings, La Galera.
Does Tony brings La Galera?
No, not La Galera.
Tony knows Espinosa.
Espinosa.
Just Espinosa right
all
now.
All of ththose. The Christoph line.
But if they're doing the Fonseca stuff and the My Father stuff, they're getting the stuff
Jason.
from Polar,
So,
La Galera.
it's the highest rated cigar we've ever had was the Yellow Rose.
Crown Heads.
Okay. We did it in January. And it was during COVID. The only place open, it was shitty raining, 38 degrees, nasty weather. There's only like 2 places in Paris you can smoke indoors, like bar places. The biggest dive bar piece of shit, like you walk in, just smelled like an ashtray, cigar ashtray. There's like 8 dudes over there playing pool, 4 old alcoholics at the bar, and the cigar club over here. We had like 20 smokers. The Yellow Rose in January. In January, usually historically rates low because it's the first smoke of the year. It's January. The weather sucks, whatever.
That's a good cold weather cigar, though.
98. 20 guys rated it in 98.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And then, the other cigars that have the Vengeance, Christoph Vengeance ranked well. The Oliva Master 3 blend over the years ranked
Big
well.
cigars. Big cigars. Yeah.
Gary has tried introducing this to some of the Lanceros and some of the others, but he did it when he was on a beach in Dominican Republic. So he's like, y'all try this piece of shit while I'm out of town. And the club isn't used, I'm learning through cigars. Like if I find, like, I'm a Nicaraguan, like that's probably my favorite tobacco. So if I find a Nicaraguan I really like, I want it in a Lancero.
Do you have
I'm going to get more flavor?
Mosher.
Do you
have a region? Do you have a region in Nicaragua you like the most?
Jalapa, it just seems like the cigars that I like the most seem to be Nicaraguan, but I'm equal opportunity. I'll smoke anything good. I mean, and to me, the first box of cigars I ever bought was the Oliva Master 3 blend.
That's a good cigar.
And then the next box was the Ligero Maduro Christoph.
Okay.
And, I bought a box of Acid Blondes for my wife, and now she's like, hey,
get this.
She's gonna want the one I had tonight. I gotta go buy 4 more of those, to take home for the 4 of us, the Flynn's and us to have.
These are the real deal.
My wife and I go out. We sit on Tuesdays during Cigar Talk. We watch y'all, but we probably sit on the patio 3, if not 4 nights a week, just her and I, have a cigar. My 13-year-old's in and out, and 90 mile an hour because she's me, and goes back in the house and gets back on Netflix and then comes back out and whatever, but in and out. But my wife and I sit there, the dogs are running around the backyard playing, and that's our time to sit and chill. And it's like therapy.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed, and especially with Ale, is if you just sit in the house, when the kids go down, it's just quiet. It's really weird to strike up a conversation like, okay, we're going to actually connect now. And it feels, I'm afraid, I'm your son.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to talk and wake them up.
Well, and not only that, it's like, I know I'm going to have to, I get this from you, I know I'm going to have to emotionally commit. So I just throw a stiff arm out there. I know I'm going to have to get into a conversation, and then I've got shit I got to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
I just want to slow down. But with a cigar, it silences that. It mutes that, and you're just out there and you just start talking, and then you can get into other conversations.
Well, it's like I do drafting for a living. So I draw house plans, light industrial, commercial. It's when my clients are in, I got a 60-inch TV in my office. I can put your house up in 3D, show you what it looks like. I'm busy in that aspect where women get to see what their house looks like before it's built. I don't have to market. I don't have to advertise. I haven't posted a set of my plans online in over 4 years. I don't have to advertise. Contractors bring me, the guys that are building the house bring me my business, and then word of mouth through others. But it's a real technical. Like I sit in front of a computer all day and I'm looking. I don't want to be the guy that messes up somebody's $800,000 $1 million house because 200,000. I mean, I don't care if your house is 200,000 or 2 million. You're building your house within your budget, and it's your dream. I don't want to be the guy that messes it up. So it's real technical. So when I get home at night and my wife complains, like we have a love seat over on my side of the bed, and I'll come in, 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, sit down, turn the TV on, and I'm in the zone. She can be having a conversation, and I'll be like, you hear what I said? Yes, ma'am. She's like, bullshit. She's like wanting to throw shit at me. And we started, 7:30. Hey, you want to go out and have a smoke? And some nights we got 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We'll go get an Oliva Series G, just a little short one, or something like that. And then some nights we'll sit out and have an hour-long smoke. And it's helped us. We've been married 15 years. I don't know how long you've been married, but you get to that. You go through stages in a relationship. It's therapy for us to sit out there and talk. We're going on vacation at the end of the month. We start talking about that and what's going on next week. And my dad's in a nursing home. Her dad's dealt with cancer in the last couple of years. So that's our chance to sit down and let my brain unwind from I'm looking at 1/4 inches and 8ths, and I'm like, I don't want to mess it up.
I don't know if you guys see the same thing. Well, and Pops, you obviously don't, but when I'm inside and we're talking parenting stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about the kids. We're talking about this. We're talking about he's got to get ready for this. You got to.
Tennis
It's
camp,
so much
volleyball camp. Who's picking and dropping off?
It's so
shit
much.
tomorrow?
Yeah. And there's no disconnection when I usually stick my foot completely on my mouth and I go, "Hey,
Yeah, I stay in trouble all the time.
I don't want to talk about any of this
I
right
haven't
now."
looked to see if my wife's commented, but I stay in.
No, she's quiet, which means you're definitely in trouble. But but when you get out there, you just have a cigar. You just, I don't know. There's something about it. I don't know what it is with
Love
the
you,
cigar.
Patrick. Patrick Carmichael cracking me up.
Patrick.
I love Patrick.
What's happening?
Patrick and his wife are awesome. They come up like we've had. Paris is really starting to step into. We had our chili, or no, they do steak wars. One of the local, it's not a Harley dealership, but motorcycle place, South Main Iron. They do a steak wars. It's $20 to get in, get a wristband. They had like 32 or 34 competitors competing for the best steak. You walk around and you just get a taste steak. I swear to God, I had 3 pounds of steak coma. I mean, I was
Meat
just
sweats.
like, I walked up and they're like, you can have more if you want, JD. And I'm like, if it's good, I'm just like, a little bite-sized piece, just throwing them down. And then one of the guys are like, here's a 16-ounce ribeye. They bought 800 ribeyes.
Jesus.
For the competition. Yeah, no joke. I mean, it's worth coming up for. I mean, they had like from 10 to 2 or 10 to 12 was appetizers. Guys were smoking all kinds of crap. Bacon wrap boudin on a smoker. And then they started steak competition. But, my wife and I helped Gary and Leslie at their tent. We'll set up the Rigby's tent and sell cigars. But I'm walking around eating. I mean, by the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not eating for 3 days. I literally ate 3 pounds of steak. But the guys are like, here's a 16-ounce ribeye to take back to your tent. Okay. I was a sailor. If you give me free liquor or free cigar or free food, I'm on it. Mm-hmm. But, Paris is getting good about doing events and starting to get that draw and stuff for small town. It's, I never thought I was going to move back to Paris after the military, but the economy sucked at the time. I didn't have my degree done, and that was the whole reason I joined, was just to go in, get trade, get college money, get out and go do it. Mm-hmm. They just kept giving me cool shit to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll go do that. That sounds fun. 24 years later, I went back to college full time, got my degree, and never thought I'd go back to Paris, but it's a great town to raise kids in because it's a small town. My wife went to school with half the teachers and half the parents of the kids, so I know the little bastards that are talking to my daughter, so I can threaten their little lives.
Yep.
Shit like that.
It's important.
So it's been good in that aspect, but it's just that time we get to go out now. And since my wife has gotten into smoking, I think she's been in the club. She started smoking cigars about 2 years ago. Started her on Tatiana cinnamon, the chocolates, the Javas. And now it's like she'll smoke a 601. She'll smoke a Murcielago with me and be like, oh, that's kind of strong. Like, no shit. Like Big Tony, we did Cigar Club last October, the bat. So that's the theme. The bat, the bat was on. Good October smoke. Big Tony's like, yeah, it's a medium to full. Everybody lights up.
That's an Espinosa medium to full.
Yeah. No, everybody lights up, and all you hear is, people are dying, and everybody's like, Tony, you smoke 12 cigars a day. You're a cigar rep.
Yeah.
That's not a medium. This is full.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a beast.
But there's markets that really works. There's markets
but it's
that
a
doesn't,
big cigar. It's a heavy cigar.
Oh, yeah. Super heavy.
So, I'll buy another one and smoke it, but it needs to be a cool evening with the fire pit to smoke it, and I got to be in the mood for that because that's a bold cigar.
It's too big for me. Pops, get to big 3.
We're going to jump into the big 3. This is where the ultimate judgment really takes place. This is
you already know that. You've already seen the big 3,
y'all
right?
been changing them a little bit.
Yeah, we have.
Y'all need to start rotating, but yeah, go ahead. Pops.
Yeah, so we'll go into the obvious big 3. I think because of where you live, there's probably as we judge you in
he knows
advance,
where you're going.
I think that we know where this is heading. And I don't know Chance yet. Chance just came in again. I have a sneaky feeling
he's a banker. He's a banker.
He might be one of those guys that actually puts on the suit, runs out in the fields and shit.
He's a banker.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but he does off-road in his cute little Land Rover or whatever he's got.
There it is.
Land
There it is.
Cruiser or something.
they're
whatever
precious.
it is.
Land Rovers
precious.
are just in between trips to the
precious.
shop.
That sounds like a good handle.
Precious might be a good name for him.
So the whole thing, though, in Cigar Club is you have to say or do something. like you're at Cigar Club, if you say or do something, our executive committee for the Cigar Club is the board of the humidor. There's 7 of us. We vote. If somebody says or does something stupid, it's like, did you hear what he just said? No, he said this. Like, what? So 2 cigar clubs ago, we're talking, and I kind of, like, it was bass fishing. It was like bait fishing. Like, it was a stock pond. I threw it out there, and the guy says something, and as soon as he said it, he put his head down and was like, maybe JD didn't hear that. And I walked away.
He knew.
I grabbed a couple of the board members. I need 4 for a quorum, and I got them, and I'm like, he just said this shit, and they're like, boom, 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 boom. He's now known as Glory Hole. So that's for you,
Nice.
Tyler.
All right.
But that's how the club works is, Chance doesn't have one yet, and he's scared, but Precious is definitely, we've discussed that.
Do you guys have the only glory hole in Paris? Or
Tyler's the only Glory Hole.
Tyler's the only
He's
one.
a pro. He's a pro.
All right, good. So
He's watching too, I guarantee it.
So, so question number 1 in the judgment zone, and I guess Brandon, he's seen this train coming. So, do you want to speculate his position, Bigfoot, real?
So we asked this question. We ask it on a 1 to 10 scale. 0 is Adrian, which
Zero
is
is
I
Adrian.
never believe.
Until that son of a bitch shits in
10.
his backyard and he takes a shot at it.
Yeah, and 10 is I just smoked a cigar with Bigfoot.
Yep.
I'm going to put JD at
Can't be 5.
no. 5s don't exist here.
Right. 4, 6, or up, over, down. He's throwing lawn darts right now. He has no clue.
I'm putting JD at a 7.
Is it a 7?
7.
He
still
drinks a
reasonable.
lot of Jack and Coke.
Right.
I think he's probably seen something that he's convinced
I got my Jack
is
and Coke right
Bigfoot. I'm gonna. You know what? I think he's a believer. I think he's one of these guys that'll.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. And I God, the day somebody says I saw it, is going to be the day that I kiss a man on this show. But
Chance would
I'm
kiss
going
you.
7. I'm going 7.
Where you at?
0.
You're with Adrian?
I got you, Adrian.
He's
That's some bullshit right
I
there.
mean, he's got menstrual
So
pains.
I'm
right now.
military. I worked with a variety of guys in the military. I've had technology. If that sumbitch existed, I'm with Adrian. That sumbitch is mounted in my living room. Like full mount. I'm not talking like shoulder
no
mount.
breast.
No, that sumbitch is, I got 10-foot ceiling in my living room. So
Yeah.
he's taking up the whole thing. So, I mean, yeah, he's the hide and seek champion if of the world, undeniable.
William, please
but
send
yeah,
that
no.
link. Send the link of the
So-
video of the Bigfoot.
Yeah, no, after
Right
one
in
of
the
the
comments.
shows, somebody linked and I was watching, like when I'm in my
They're
office.
all terrible.
When I'm in my office, I have my TV on like a news channel or I'll flip it on something just for background noise while I'm working on shit. And like one of the channels that I stop and I'm watching and they're talking about Bigfoot. The guy's like, I got evidence. And I'm like you took a 2x4 cut out of a foot and mashed it in the mud. And I think if with today's technology, there would be DNA. There'd be some hair on
something.
a limb.
There'd be
there would
something.
be. I mean, I got an iPhone 12. I could take a picture of some bitch if he was real.
Yeah.
A video that's like 4K.
Yep.
So I'm just not buying that he would be. We're in Texas, boys. That some bitch would be mounted. It's in
Yeah.
somebody's house.
He's not going to make it.
He's
he
not in
wouldn't make
Texas. I guarantee you, Bigfoot ain't in Texas because
No,
some
he-
redneck would have shot his ass.
Yeah.
Now, Mark McClurkin says he's definitely in Oklahoma.
I might have gone out with a girl that looked like Sasquatch when I was in high school, but
we've all
I was
been
a
down
sailor,
that path.
so you know.
But
Take what
Some
you
hairy
get. Whatever's
chicks, some hairy
free.
chicks.
you know, I have seen some of these videos, and the people. There are some videos recently where there was an older guy that had made his life doing this. Him and his son went out. They caught one on video. They couldn't have been 50 feet away. And I'm thinking, if Bigfoot sees them and all of a sudden starts running away, Bigfoot is scared of him. So why don't they chase him? You know, run the son of a
Right.
bitch down. If
Right.
he turns
Common sense.
around,
Common
you got
sense.
video, and he turns around, he charges
Yeah, if
after
it's
you. Hey, you take one for the team.
You take
If
one for
if it's
your
humanity.
kid will have a
If
story.
it's a grizzly bear, that someone's going to stand up and stand his ground. You're like, yeah, we're going the other way.
Yep.
You shoot your buddy in the knee with a 22, so he slows down,
Yep.
so you get away.
Right. Yeah.
He's bait.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he runs away, he's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I'm not a believer in
So,
Bigfoot.
but,
that's a
but that's
valid
new.
point.
Bigfoot's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good T-shirt if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Now I will
Bold
say,
tags.
Show
I
yourself.
will say,
Show yourself.
I have a Bronco Sasquatch on order for the wife, so she believes in that Sasquatch.
Well, that
the
one
Bronco
makes sense.
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those on order for the wife. So
She starts drinking OJ, you're in trouble, bud.
and eating them beef jerkies, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm fucked.
All right. That's good. So,
Number two.
You do it.
Let's go to those above.
Yeah. I'm with
UFOs?
you.
UFOs. Where are you sitting on the UFOs?
So
There's a lot of
let me go ahead and throw
Navy
your number
footage
out there.
There's a lot of Navy footage out there.
Okay, so
yeah, but that's drunken sailor. So
what I'll say
factor that.
is 1 to 10, the fact that there's extraterrestrial life somewhere. Not that it's here walking around at Stonebriar, but just that it exists somewhere in the universe. 1 to 10. Where are you at?
God, I just want to believe.
randomly-
I just want to believe that people believe. So I'm going to go.
Is there a wheel like the life game where you spin the wheel and go?
I'm
He's
going
a 6.
He is a 6.
You know what? I know. I have a feeling I know where he's going on this. I think he's had in-depth conversations with his wife about it.
That's the next one.
I think that I'd like to say he's a 7, but I think I think he has a man crush on Adrian. And if so facto, he's going to do it whatever Adrian.
I hit it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I was a
yeah.
sailor, but yeah,
he's armed.
Yeah, I'm big speed. And he's a little.
Adrian.
Spinner.
Okay, so you're going north of 5?
I'm gonna lean up against a 7 post on this one.
I'll go with a 6 post. I'll go with the 6 post.
I'm probably an 8-9. It's too big of a galaxy.
All right.
There's no way there's not other
Something, right?
There has to be.
I mean, we are a speck of pepper in a frickin' field of pepper.
Yep.
There's no way that with all the planet. I mean, it's just there's no way that.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say there are more stars in our galaxy than there are grains of sand on the Earth.
Yeah. There's
There's 200 million galaxies the size of our galaxy.
yeah.
There's something out there.
Yeah. I mean, I believe. I mean, I don't know if they're smarter than us or dumber than us or they're still in caveman, but yeah. I mean,
Like I said, like I've brought up, the Wright brothers were in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
We've advanced quite a bit flying in 100 years. And if you think, did you get some ball sweat
That's
down
some
the
good
wrong
bulb
pipe?
sweat, right?
one of our friends in the club, Miata, he'd say if it hits you in the back of the throat, swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did.
So,
Miata.
so I can just picture that guy. He's
I
got
know.
a rainbow sticker on the back.
Oh, he's gay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just.
But he's
He
got
had a BMW. He had a BMW M3. He shows up to one of the cigar smokes in a brand new M3, and one of the girls, Deuce, because she took a shit for 20 minutes. That's how she got her nickname. But he shows up and she's like, "Can I drive your car?" And he's like, "Yeah." And Brett went with her, and he had a drink. She goes out of the driveway at 80, drifting that bitch, and I'm like, "That's a brand new M3." Like, that's like $70,000-$80,000 car. They can come back, and Brett's like, "Man, we hit a bump, and my drink went straight up and came right back in my glass." And
Oh,
I'm
God.
like, and he got out, and he's walking towards the house, and we're like, "Did you shit your pants?" Skid mark.
Skid
All
mark.
right.
Nice.
Retired firefighter from Paris Fire Department, but
Nice.
that's how he got that nickname. But,
Nice. So
yeah.
we got to believe, or do you believe that there are aliens walking the streets of Earth right now?
I'm going to go with you on this because I've dated one.
Yeah.
They're
redheads.
fucking redheads.
Yeah. Redheads.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I dated
they're
one
aliens.
way back in the day. But walking the earth, I'm middle of the road on that. Do I think the UFOs and some of the video that we've seen, especially so last year, and I commented last week. Last year, we took my daughter. I couldn't afford, as an ex-military guy just starting my first business, I couldn't afford vacations and shit until I got into the drafting business. Now I'm doing okay. I'm not a millionaire and I'm not making killing it, but I'm doing okay. I'm comfortable. So we decided we're going to go somewhere different every year. We're not going to go to Destin like everybody goes every year. Mm-hmm. Let's go somewhere different and show our daughter every year. We'll find it. So last year we went to Roswell, we went to Carlsbad Caverns, spent a day or two there. Then we stopped and spent a night in Roswell, and then went over to Rio Doso. We went to Roswell like the month before is last year when the government released the official data on UFOs. I'm like, oh, these some bitches are going to be walking around with tinfoil hats. I couldn't wait to get to Roswell.
Oh, man.
Right? They're going to be going off the charts, right? And we get there, and I'm like, it was just kind of touristy. It was fun.
Yeah.
The McDonald's looks like a spaceship. It was a fun to go through, take kids one night at the hotel, on to the next spot. It was cool to hit. But do I think the UFOs, like them videos and shit? Yeah, I believe in that. I'm probably an 8 on that.
Yeah.
Are they walking around among us? I could be a 3. I could be a 7. I don't know on that.
As a Navy guy, I'm starting to buy in on the hype that they're not hiding on dirt; they're hiding in the water. That's what
70%.
There's a lot of water.
I mean, I've jumped off the ship for swim call in 6,000 feet of water. You don't touch the deep end.
Yeah, there's no deep end there. You're
If
not
you touch
bouncing
the
up
deep end, you're
bottom.
fucked.
Yeah, you ain't making it up.
I mean, there's a couple guys up high with M14s looking for sharks. But we did swim call in the middle of the ocean. That's cool as shit. It was neat. I mean, there's things in my military career I'm like, that was cool. Walking out in the morning or going out in the evening, and the water is glass, and the sunset, and it's just like you could walk across the light to the sunset. There's no other thing like it in the world. And then there's times when you go down and you come up and the wave goes over the bridge. Which is 47, 50 feet in the air.
I'm out.
Like waves hitting the windshield.
shit.
You got the windshield wipers on, literally. I mean, I've been in some nasty shit, but it's like, so, yeah.
So
if there's somewhere, it's in the ocean.
Yeah, let me ask you that, because I've seen some of these videos.
Oh yeah, it's crazy
where you've
shit.
got big barges that are going across, and as that goes down,
It's called ignorant.
and then you don't see anything but
Yeah, we've had
sea.
waves hit 50 feet.
50 feet.
I mean,
are you just
well,
puckered?
Are
you puckered? Are you pretty
like
comfortable with
my
it?
first ship, the bridge was 47 feet. Was the bridge, the windows.
Jesus.
So, but when you say you hit a wave, you're going down and you're coming into the next wave. So it's not like you're just flat and a 47 wave.
Maybe 20 feet, something.
I mean, so depends on, like, I lived in Hawaii twice, 2 tours out there, different times. A 20-foot wave is 10 foot. Like 10
right,
foot
because
down, 10 foot up.
they measure it from the back, right?
Yeah,
or
so-
more or less.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a 20-foot wave. You might be 20 foot of face. It's 10 foot above, 10 foot down.
Okay.
But it's still 20 foot of wave. So if you hit it down here, it's 20 foot. I mean, when you go to pipeline, when they're running the surf, when they're doing the pipeline, I mean, I went up there and it's like 40, 50 foot waves. I'm like, that dude's fixing to die.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you're dead. I mean, it's no joke. It's impressive. But yeah, we've hit 50 foot. We did, my first ship, we took a 47-degree roll. And at 45, the 5-inch gun, which is a big as this room turret with like 8-inch thick steel, big 5-inch gun sticking out, the bolts are supposed to break it at 45 degrees. The bolts are supposed to break off, and the turret's supposed to fall off in the water, so you don't have that top weight.
Yeah.
Antennas, and I was an electronics guy, so all the antennas, I'm like, oh God, I hope shit's not breaking because I got to fix it. That was what I was worried about. But we did a 47-degree roll on my first ship. There's a picture, I probably have it somewhere. I walked up a wall on, you pitch, or you roll and you pitch. Pitch is this way, roll is that way. I walked up and they marked it 5 foot. I was 5 feet up the door standing straight. And as we roll back, I walk back down.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy
Are
shit.
you puckered, or are you pretty comfy with it?
So the only time I ever got seasick in my life was my dad and brother came out to Hawaii, the first tour I did, and we went out, my first wife, I fired her years ago. Good woman, no regrets, but she worked for a dentist and he owned a charter yacht, and we went out fishing, and the engine broke. One of the engines broke, and they're having problems, so I'm like, I'll go down and fuck with it. So I get down in there, and it's just oily, greasy water. We've been drinking all day. It's 100 degrees Hawaii. You're sweating your balls off. And I get down there, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to give you some air. That's the only time in my life I ever got seasick. I mean, it never affected me. Now, one of my best friends in the Navy, he's a executive officer on one of the big ships, going to be commanding officer in a year or two. Like, as soon as they cast the lines off from the pier and said, underway, shift colors, he was like, I don't feel good. Like, I mean, just like as soon as he heard it, he was sick.
Yeah.
I mean, you get those guys in the
His
Navy.
tag is what, barf bag?
Yeah. We gave him shit for the first day or two. He was on his rack, out. He was useless as shit. But I've seen some pretty nasty stuff. I did some nasty shit in San Diego. I worked with the mini subs, the wet submersible mini subs with the SEALs. And we went out on a Mark V, which is an 80-foot cigarette boat.
Okay.
Spec Ops. Badass boat, right? We went out and deployed and then recovered a wet submersible mini sub. And when we went out, it was a beautiful day. And then it turned to like category 4C. And I'm sitting here running the evolution of recovering this SEAL delivery vehicle with X amount of SEALs inside of it. And I'm like, I'm fixing to kill some dudes. And the guy that was in visiting me this weekend for the 4th was in front of me. And I'm like, if that cable breaks, he's going to die. I hope he catches all of the cable.
Yeah.
So I don't die
Yeah.
too. But I'm like, we're fixing to die. And I mean, we would hit a wave and I wouldn't see them. They'd go, it was like they were going under the back of the ship as we were hitting waves like this. And you can't let off the winch or you'll spider. I mean, just, yeah, I've done some hairy shit. Like, we're fixing to die or I'm fixing to kill X amount of Navy SEALs. I've seen some, I was very privileged in my career. I think, and this is, a good thing, figure out a question for it is, I think life is, it comes down to time. Right place, right time. I was very fortunate in my career in the military, and since I've gotten out into my career, and my second, third business I'm on now is being at the right place at the right time, and just the opportunity, the door opening, like, oh, what's in there, and going in, and life opens up, and oh, there's a new chapter of my life. Mm-hmm. And I was very fortunate in the military. When I was a C student in high school, C student.
Yeah, but A's and B's work for C's.
Exactly. Joined the Navy, C student. All I cared about was getting through the day, going to the club, drinking and partying. I was a sailor. I got in trouble in one of my, in between my corps school and going to my first command, I got in trouble for an alcohol-related incident, underage, and I'm like, oh shit, I better do some damage control and get in front of it. So I started studying. Well, then I was honor graduate. I was either number 1 or number 2 in every class after that. Like, oh, I better start acting like I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's where part of my life changed, and it's timing. And then, I spent 13 years regular Navy, and then I went and worked with the SEALs. And that's probably what changed me the most in my life as a man, is I worked with guys that are pro-level athletes. Mm-hmm. I mean, pro-level athletes. Mm-hmm. Quit, can't, failure, it's not an option. Failure will teach you how to fix it, but can't and quit aren't options in that community. Right. And that changed me as an individual. But life is a clock, and it's walking through, and the door opens or closes at the right time. Wrong. You're driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of you, you hit your brakes, and you're like half a second away from dying. Mm-hmm. Or, ooh, that was close. I mean, it happens to everybody. Mm-hmm. Yep. And life is like that. And so, that's kind of where, I don't even know where the hell we were at on that conversation.
Well, I think that moves to the final big three, which is, tell us a time.
Ball sweat.
Is there a time that you faced? This is a new big three, by the way. Is there a time you faced a situation where you could meet the Reaper? And what was that like?
So my buddy was in this weekend, Caesar, squatting down, running a winch. I've got X amount of Navy SEALs in a $4.5 million wet submersible mini sub that's basically like, take your blender, your microwave, some computers, and waterproof it in a little frickin' tube, trying to recover those guys. I'm like, we're fixing to fucking die. I didn't get to go to Iraq. I was kind of pissed about it at the time. Hindsight, it's probably a good thing now. My wife will tell you, she's glad I didn't. I was working with the mini subs. We had finished our job. I blew my knee playing soccer. 39 years old, 225 pounds, wrong time to start playing soccer again. Yeah. Blew my knee, trashed it, was waiting for surgery, and they called me up and said, dude, they want you to come over. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going. So I taught Navy SEALs for a 3.5, 4 year tour, worked with the guys forever, and I'm like, this is my last chance to get downrange with the guys I've been training and working with. I wanted to go. Doc wouldn't let me go. I was pissed. I threatened his. I'm gonna wait in the parking lot. I'm gonna kick your ass after work. I was so pissed. But yeah, I've done some shit. I mean, I've been out on a range training SEALs, and all of a sudden you're like, there's a fucking tracer rounds. I'm gonna move where I'm sitting. Like, oh shit, hey, blah, 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 I'm moving. Like tracer rounds coming. I'm like, oh, that could have got bad. But yeah, so the worst, I mean, I didn't get to go to Iraq. I was really pissed. My best friend, one of my best friends at the time, Caesar, who was in this weekend, is one of them. And then Gary's one of my best friends, the Flynn's obviously, but one of my SEAL buddies. He gets back and he's telling my wife, like, oh, it's a good thing JD didn't go. He was on a rooftop, took 29 shrapnel wounds from a grenade. He's like, oh, it's a good thing JD didn't go. He'd been sitting next to me. I'm like, don't tell her that shit. Oh, he's like, oh, it's a good thing he wasn't there. He'd been driving the Humvee that hit the IED because that was the command, the communications one. I'm like, dude, she's not letting me go to Bed Bath & Beyond with you if you keep talking. Shut up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would say probably there were some times that I worked with the SEALs that shit was just working with those guys. You train to the worst possible environment, the worst. Like, what's the worst possible scenario you could be? You train to that because everything else is gravy if it goes smooth. Mm-hmm. And as a man, that probably changed me more than anything. I mean, I can name drop and name some guys and be like, holy shit, you know that dude? Yeah. Some of them I'm really good friends with. Some of them I'm super close with. Some of them were guys I worked with that I know. If I saw them, they'd be like, hey, what's up, dude? How you been? Whatever. Later. You know, acquaintance kind of guys, teammates, but not like in my circle that I ran with. So, you know, that changed me more than anything. But yeah, I mean, I did some shit. I mean, it's a miracle I'm alive. We went to a bar one night on our Harleys and had 8 Irish car bombs, if you know what an Irish car bomb is, right? 2/3 of a pint.
Guinness and Bailey's?
2/3 of a pint of Guinness. You take a shot glass with half Irish whiskey, half Bailey's, and you drop it, and it starts foaming, looks like a mushroom.
Curdling, right?
And if you don't drink it in like 30, 45 seconds, it curdles. We did 8 of those in 45 minutes, got on our Harleys, and went to Dollar Beer Night.
Yeah, that's near death. Yeah, that's near death.
Yeah. I mean, back in those days, you parked your Harley, you turned it, and you put a padlock on the forks. Back then, there was an eyelet that you put a padlock. And so your belt, you know, when you were riding, you hooked your lock on your belt. We would go out of the bar and get on our Harleys, and somebody would be driving across the parking lot because they were so drunk they forgot to take the lock off. And I'm like, or they'd be doing circles. And I'm like, okay, that's maybe the sign. But
that's
hey,
sign.
Unlock it so we can get over there for $1 Corona night's over. I mean, it's a miracle I'm alive.
Do you have a near-death experience?
No, I mean, I've done stupid things, but nothing that...
In Nebraska?
Nothing that had,
I mean, I lived in Omaha as a little kid. So,
is that right?
Yeah, for like 10 months or something.
Yeah, it's... No, I don't... I mean, I've had situations... You mentioned a situation where, man, that's close. I came down here, and we were going to see...
Derek.
Derek over in Abilene, and we're going out to see a guy that he played football with transferred down here, and we were driving out to see him, and I'm driving on the interstate, and it's like 4 lanes across, and all of a sudden I see this, what I'm going to call a stereotypical Mexican truck, right? A pickup truck with step side.
We all picture it.
You can picture it, and I'm watching it enter the interstate at an angle that it shouldn't have been entering, and it drove through this ditch, comes up right in front of us, goes across, sticks underneath a fuel truck.
Oh, shit.
The fuel truck is trying to turn out of the way. He shoves a Escalade up against the concrete barrier, and the Escalade gets squished that all the windows popped out. And we're behind him. We stop, go up. The Mexican guy's, he's out. And all of a sudden I see smoke coming out of the dashboard. So I get it. The guy, we bust the door open. There's 4,000 cars in traffic, and they're all sitting there watching. And I'm running up there trying to break this friggin' door open. Finally, we get the door broke open. One other guy came and helped me. We busted the door open, got the guy pulled out. Whole car's on fire, sitting underneath a fuel truck. So we get this stuff pulled out.
Was there an asterisk in your seat when you went back to your car from where
there
was like sucked the leather up?
Yes, and it took.
You're like, oh,
it had to get surgically taken out, but it was a Maserati, so it was really nice leather. But
so it was supple.
It was supple,
leather
and it was
in your butthole.
it was so comfortable. But It had that leathery feel. That's what you're
Buttery
looking for.
leathery.
So,
Corinthian.
but once everything got done, we're driving, and I'm doing the old mile marker test. You get to a mile marker and you count 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and I'm realizing that at the speed we were going, we were 2 1,000ths of that guy going into our door. And if I would have gone just a little bit faster, he would have went in our door, shoved us underneath the truck, and who knows?
And that's where I was saying it's
just
timing.
Life is it's crazy.
I mean, ICC.
Yep.
It's all of a sudden the chips aligned, and all of a sudden you're like, let's open a cigar place. Mm-hmm. You know, life is like that.
Yep.
And it's crazy, but
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can relate to the time driving down the road where you almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, everybody's dealt with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
that's
hit some black
crazy.
ice.
I haven't had to drag anybody out of a car.
Yeah,
We found a
it's-
dead body in the desert one time and fucked with one of the other guys, and that was kind of funny, but that's another story. Found a guy that killed himself, and like, yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we acted like another dude like got in a fight with him and killed him, and one of the other guys that wasn't coming like, we'll go hide the body and nobody will know, and we're like, no, we're just fucking with you. He killed himself. We called like the sheriff and they came out, but yeah, we totally had another dude like, I'll go get the truck and the shit and we'll bury his body.
Oh, he was all about it.
Oh, he thought one of our guys killed that dude. We were fucking with him. Yeah, because that's just the community I worked in. Like, we found a dead dude that killed himself in the desert. They're out riding, and they come across, one of the guys stopped, and he's like, oh shit. And the guy that was leading comes back, like, what happened? Like, oh, they got in a fight. And the guy started going nuts, pulled a shotgun, and it went off and killed the dude. He's like, oh shit, don't say nothing. I'm going to go get a shovel.
I got the line.
We're going to hide the body. And I'm like,
Hey, that dude's ready to ride.
that's the bro.
That's a good
That's
friend.
the bro you want next to you
Yeah, that's
anywhere
right.
you go. He's
That's
like, I'll
it.
go get a shovel, we'll hide the body.
Nobody's going to say anything.
No, it's like, no, really, he killed himself. What a credit card chef's like, I hate you, fuckers.
So
That's the mentality of the guys I worked with.
So let's do one of the standard third question.
Oh shit!
So
It's either gonna be
It's a
music, or it's gonna be
two-parter.
cars, or it's gonna be
it's
ghost.
ghosts. Do you believe in apparitions? And Brandon has to answer the question first. But do you believe in
Spirits.
apparitions? That they're there, the doors are flying open, there's shit being thrown at you. And then the second part of that is spirits.
I'm going. If he's saying ghosts, I think he's going to go physical apparitions. I think he's going sub 5. I'll put him at a 4. If he's going spirits, I think he's going a 9.
That's
I think he's a
pretty
spiritual guy.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a ghost guy.
yeah.
That's my push.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you on that. I'm gonna agree with you on that.
Where you at, JD?
So on aberrations, like seeing a ghost, yeah, probably a 4 on that. 3, 4. I haven't seen one. So we had some real good friends of ours. Every year we'd go down to Jefferson, which is not far
know
from
it is.
Yeah,
Jefferson.
good motocross
Cool
race
place.
there.
So one of the hotels, the story is, what's the dude that wrote all the, Stephen King, was staying at the hotel. Shit happened. He got up in the middle of the night and left, scared the shit out, and then wrote one of his novels.
Stephen King.
Yeah, no, that's like true story. He was staying at one of the hotels in Jefferson. Shit happened in the middle of the night. He gets up and leaves. He's freaked out, and then writes one of his novels.
Could you imagine freaking out?
Yeah,
Stephen King.
Yeah, no shit. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we stayed at that hotel and another one. And the room, like last time I remember going, or one of the ones I remember going, is the room we stayed in supposedly had a woman that died and she would appear. And I kept telling my wife, like, we're getting a threesome tonight with a ghost, right?
Yeah, nice.
And my wife's like, yeah, no, that shit ain't happening. But as a dude, it was funny. But my wife went down to Jefferson Hotel with some girlfriends, and they'd gone out drinking and come back to the room, we were doing something, and smelled cigar smoke. Like out of nowhere.
We've
I
had
posted
somebody.
that on there.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
In
in
the
a room.
same hotel.
Yeah, the Jefferson Hotel. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, somebody's smoking a cigar in the room, and supposedly somebody died, whatever. But, so, do I believe that there's spirits? Do I believe that there's an afterlife? Yeah, I believe in God. I don't go to church every weekend. God's here. I don't have to go to church to have it. We'll go on holidays and occasions, but, yeah, do I believe there's an afterlife? I hope so, right? You know, I hope there's something better waiting on me after. If not, whatever. But ghost, I haven't seen one. I didn't get my threesome, so I'm a 3 on the
Yeah,
threesome.
3. Yeah.
So
Did you believe the cigar smoke thing.
Oh no, I believe my wife 100%. And the girl, I mean, there was 3 or 4 of them staying. They had like 2 rooms. They walked in. They're like, "What the?" Like totally. They're like, "It smells like a cigar."
And she's a cigar smoker, so she knows.
This is like 5 years before she even started smoking cigars. So she knew what when I first started smoking cigars, it was like backwood honeyberry. Hot shit.
The good shit.
The good shit. Right. We're talking redneck country shit.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, I look like Clint Eastwood with that sumbitch.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's, do I believe there's an afterlife? Do I believe in spirits? I mean, we went down one year and we're driving around and we took pictures of shit. We were out in Jefferson, you can rent golf carts and drive around inside the city. Yeah, a bunch of drunk idiots doing that shit.
Yeah, well, that's what golf courses are made for.
We were taking pictures. We get home and we're looking at pictures like, the fuck is that in that window up there? Like, we're like, could it have been a flash, a light? Yeah, but just makes you think. So do I believe there's an afterlife? There's spirits? Yeah, I hope so. But do I believe in ghosts? Haven't seen one. I mean, some of them shows they got some pretty neat shit, but it's not. I'm more of a believer that there could be ghosts than Sasquatch, but not putting a paycheck on it yet.
Yep.
Do you believe that these mediums can actually connect, or do you think that's a circus show?
He's with me.
I'm right in the middle
He's
of
with
that.
me.
It's like, I mean, some of that shit, you're like,
Brandon's
really?
a hard
Like,
zero.
I am a hard zero on that.
I'm like 3-4 maybe. There's some shit you're like, damn, that's pretty crazy.
I'd push to a 1-2. I'd push to a 2.
But yeah, some of it's like, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah, you've seen some crazy stuff.
And that's of recent.
Recent, yeah.
I don't know if you watched it when I was talking about what happened when we were in Denton. So it was the weirdest thing. We're sitting talking about this medium my wife saw in Mexico.
Right.
And
I don't think I saw that one.
so we're sitting there, right? We're
Hurry, 'cause I
talking,
gotta pee.
and it's good. This will close it off. We're sitting there, and I'm talking about, because there's like a little tarot or whatever they're called, little palm reader.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. She starts talking about this palm reader. Bullshit all the way through. I'm like, this is the worst. Of course, you have Facebook. They can find everything on you. Absolute bullshit. No doubt about it. 100%. All of a sudden, my son's name's Elias. He's 2. This little fella comes walking over and pats Elias on the head. And all of a sudden, Alessia, my 5-year-old daughter, and Elias are there talking with this guy. And he's speaking to him in Spanish. They don't look Mexican, but they all of a sudden started speaking in Spanish. Well, the guy comes walking up to the table. He looks identical to my wife's grandfather, Ruben. And we start talking with him, and his mannerisms are the same. All of the core features look identical. And what's the guy's name? It's Ruben. And what's
That makes your shit start going, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so we're going,
You're like,
hang on.
How many drinks did you have?
We are just like the first sips, or we just sat down, right? And it's going through, and all of a sudden he's talking with them like it's, his own grandkids. And then the guy just fucking disappears. He just walks out. We turn around. We're like, that was the weirdest coincidence I've ever seen. And I look around, gone forever.
And he had passed a couple years ago?
Yeah, he passed a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and it was
I heard
just
the story on that.
It was just so wild how that happened. Now, maybe that's the biggest coincidence. Maybe there are a lot of Mexican guys that look like Ali's grandfather.
Named Ruben.
Yeah,
Ruben,
which is also completely possible.
Yeah, Juan, Ruben.
Yeah, Pedro,
Jesus.
the whole thing. But in that moment, you go, hang on for a second. And it was at least entertaining nonetheless.
Right.
But it was cool. It was fun. I still think medium's full of shit, though.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of on that tarot reader shit. Yeah, I'm on the fence on that shit.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
All right. You got to pee and we got to get
gotta
out of
pee.
here.
Yeah, that's it. So, thank you guys for everybody that hung with us throughout the night. I'm sure that all of Paris is watching tonight. It was probably on the
All 12
Channel
of them.
5 News
All 12
tonight.
of them.
You're not going to believe this, but JD is going to be
Holy shit. I
he's
know
gonna be
that
on
guy.
the internets.
He's a dick.
Yeah, but we want to thank you guys for coming in to Cigar Talk Live. Be sure to catch us on Saturdays for Saturday at the Shop. Of course, we're here every week. Next week, we're going to have a husband and wife team in here. We're going to see how many things they are surprised that their spouses
Disagree on.
We're
going to break up a marriage. next week.
realize that they don't even actually know each
on
other.
Standby.
Yeah.
Lawyers on standby.
Yeah, any
Yeah,
counselors,
exactly.
we need you.
Yeah, if you're a lawyer, be here that day.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to rake
You're
up.
going to get
Yeah.
some business.
Also, Saturday at the shop is going to come in late because we're going to be in Vegas this week.
I was supposed to say, are you going to be in Vegas when you do Saturday?
yeah.
So-
Yeah,
That'll be
we're
a
doing
good
it from
show.
the Crux
We'll be
booth.
doing it from the Crux booth.
Oh, nice.
yeah. That's
so
it.
we're thinking it'll be about 2:00 Central Time.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah. If you say 8, it'll be late.
Yeah, we'll be.
You know how we roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, JD. Thank you for being here. We
Hey, I
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate y'all have got a phenomenal business. You have a phenomenal clientele. Your staff is phenomenal. When we're down here, if we're on this side of town, the Flynn's and us, we're always here.
You always have my
Doors always open.
Yeah, love you guys.
Absolutely.
Y'all are killing it.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
See you, everybody.
You don't have any.
I know. We'll fake it.
A lot of ball sweat you could see.
Ball sweat. Peace.
I got to piss real quick.
Piss, however, at whatever